Hello, everyone. Have you ever wondered on how to create another layer of protection for your web services user? So, for your web services user, you have an option to restrict essentially right the access that we all know that as a web services user, you'll not be able to log in directly to Sage Intacct instance, but there can be with the available control there, like use of the center ID and password together with the user ID and password as a web services user. Maybe you would like to add an additional control to that user just to make sure that a valid one is integrating to your instance. So what you can do is that you can enable the IP address filtering. So if I go to company here, setup company, then under the security tab, and you can enable enforce IP address filtering, in this case, enforce at user level. So which means that if you go to manage filters in here, only those that are defined in here will have the specific restriction. So in this case, I have the web services user 2 as being restricted for this specific address. So which means that as a web service user, it has to have these logging in through this IP address um, range in here. So any ordinary user will not be affected in here at all because you haven't defined the user, right? Okay, let's try this one here. I have web services user 2 here with this IP address. So I actually intentionally manipulated this one here to get or to show me the wrong IP address. So that's the IP address that I'm actually that I defined in there, which is invalid as I know. So I have here Postman. So just for us to test whether this is actually working. So I'll be generating an API session for this user. So let's try this one. So I'll send this one here and let's look at the response. So it's an error. It says IP address denied. Right, so IP address denied for that user itself, which is web services user. So let's have a look what's the correct um, IP address. So if I go to company in here, setup, so or company admin tab, and you go to history and reports and user access report. So I'll just filter it down from here, just today's date until today's date as well, just for us to see what's the correct IP address that I have been trying to use in order to get that API session. So I click on view here and web services user. This is the timestamp. So it should be this one, right? Which is 54186. So let me just go back to company, setup, then company again. And if I scroll further down under security tab, then manage filters rather, and I click on edit. And let me just correct this one here then. So just copy and paste, but it just ends with 9 there. Click on save and done. All right. Now that I have defined the correct IP address and that IP address is visible through the company admin user access report, just to give you a clear picture of what's the IP address that that specific web services user is trying to use. All right, so let's generate an API session and let's see if that will make any difference this time that I have already keyed in the correct IP address that is tagged on the web services user 2. And click on send again. Okay, looks like it's doing something, which is good. Okay, So I can see here success, which has the web services user. It has the ID web services user too. And more importantly, status is success. And I was able to get that API session, which is great. So which means that the IP address that we have defined under company security is actually working for that specific web services user. So yep, hopefully this quick demonstration helps. Thank you.